Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to install Windows 11 on your VirtualBox. Now for those who don't know VirtualBox is a tool which allows you to run different operating systems on your host operating system. So for example, this is my VirtualBox and you can see this is my first machine over here, Kali Linux 2022. This is Debian 11 and this is my Android OS running on the same VirtualBox. Now this VirtualBox is in my computer, but I have access to these three different operating systems. So with VirtualBox, you can run a different operating system on your host computer without stressing yourself. Now let's begin with the installation. So if you don't have VirtualBox installed already, simply head to Google Chrome browser and then search for VirtualBox. So you can see the first page up here which says Oracle VM VirtualBox. So this is the link, so click on it and it will take you to this page. By the left you will see downloads over here. Click on downloads and you can see VirtualBox for different operating systems over here. So we are installing VirtualBox for our Windows system, so you select Windows host over here and it will start downloading. Now after downloading, you can just install normally like every other software, but if you find it difficult to install, then check the description of this video. You will see a link to a video that I made earlier on how to install VirtualBox. Now the second thing we need for this installation is our Windows 11 ISO file. Now to get the ISO file, search for download Windows 11 and you can see Microsoft Windows over here, so click on it. Now scroll down. Now you can see the first option here which says Windows 11 Installation Assistant. Now you will need this if you want to install it in your normal PC or in a bootable disk, but we are not using that, so we are using the option which says download Windows 11 disk image ISO. So what you do is select download and then select Windows 11 multi and then you click on download. I think the file is over 5 GB, so you just have to be prepared for that. Now I already have it downloaded, so I don't have to download again. Now after installing VirtualBox, this is how it will look like. So now we have to create a new virtual machine, and to do that, click on new over here and then enter your machine name. So let's call this Windows 11 OS and you can see the type over here Microsoft Windows and the version over here Windows 11 64-bit. So make sure Windows 11 64-bit is selected and then click on next. Now this is the RAM we want to allocate to this OS, so let's give it 6 GB of RAM since I have 16 GB on my computer. Now it is recommended to give at most 40% of your RAM to this device, so you don't have to give 50% of your RAM to this device and then use 50% on your device because it may make your host computer slow. Now click on next after entering the amount of RAM and then click on create to create a virtual hard disk which we are going to use for this installation. Now click on next, VDI, dynamically allocated next. Now this is the ROM and this is the maximum storage you can allow this device to use. So I will set it to about 50 GB. I think the minimum is about 10 GB, so 50 GB is very much okay. Click on create and our new virtual machine has been created. So you can see the first one over here, Kali Linux I installed before now, Debian 11 Android OS and Windows 11 OS over here. Now these are the details of our newly created virtual machine, so we have to make changes to this. So click on settings over here and then you go to systems by the left and you can see the base memory which is the RAM. Click on processor over here and this is where you select the amount of CPU you want to allocate to this virtual machine. So we are setting it 3 CPU core and then click on OK. So everything is set and now we have to continue with the installation. So now click on start button up here. Now this is where we are going to import the ISO file we downloaded earlier. So as you can see, this is the ISO file I downloaded, so we are going to locate this file and then add it over here. So to do that, click on this file icon over here and then click on add. Now we have to locate the file which is in our downloads folder and then select the file Windows 11 English 64 bits, open and then click on choose and then click on start. So our installation will begin immediately. Now hit enter and it will start booting. So you can see the installation process, so let's just proceed with the normal installation process. Next, install now. Now this is the product key which we don't have. We can settle this later, but for now select I don't have a product key and then select the Windows 11 version you want. So I want Windows 11 Pro, so let's go with that. Click on next. So you can see the PC doesn't meet the minimum system requirements to run this version of Windows and we are unable to install, so we have to do a little tweak to allow it to run. So let's go back, exit. Now hit on Shift F10 and this would open our command prompt terminal. Now type in regedit, and this would open the registry so you can make modifications. Now go to H key local machine over here, and then go to systems over here. Now go to setup. Now right click on setup, new, and then click on key. Now let's name this lab config. Now type it exactly this way, hit enter. Now we have to create new entries under the lab config, and to do that, right click on lab config, new, and then select dword 32-bit value. Now we have to name the first entry bypass TPM check, so you have to type it exactly like this. And then hit enter. Now double click on it and then set the value data to 1, and this would bypass the TPM check. So let's click on OK. Now right click again, new again, dword 32 again. Now we are going to bypass secure boot check, so let's type in bypass secure boot check, hit enter, double click on it, set the value data to 1, OK, and then let's create the last entry, new, dword 32-bit, bypass RAM check, and then hit enter. So we are good to go. So now you should have 3 new files over here: bypass TPM, secure boot, and RAM check. Now these are the 3 requirements which before now we didn't meet, so it is going to bypass these 3 check. Okay, so I haven't changed the RAM check, so change the value to 1. Don't forget that, it's very important. And you can see the values over here, OX and the rest, and you can see 1 by the end. Now you can close this registry now, and then also close the command prompt, and then we can start the installation by clicking on install now. Now we can skip this product key since we don't have one. We can handle that later. I made a video on how to bypass product key. I will put the link in the video description. So let's click on I don't have a product key, and now select the Windows version you want. So I want Windows 11 Pro, so that's good. Click on next, and you can see the error is no longer coming up. Now let's accept and then begin the installation next. So let's use the custom installation, so it would wipe out any other file, and this is the drive size we allocated to our virtual machine. So you can see this version of Windows requires 52 gig of ROM or larger, but we don't have up to that because we allocated lower than that. So you should allocate more than 50 gig to this machine. Now let's continue with that and click on next, and our installation has started. So this will take some time, so you just have to wait patiently. So the installation is almost complete and it will restart in a second. This is way faster than installing on a host computer. So after the installation, make sure you delete the file or move it to another folder, so whenever you want to boot, it won't boot from the file again, and then start a fresh installation. So you can see our Windows machine is coming up, and here we begin with the setup. So let's continue with this. Next, yes, skip that. Now you can set it based on what you want, so I'm just proceeding with the default settings and configurations since this is just a test for you. Now let's begin the configuration. Everything tech. By the way, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, this is a good time to subscribe. Thank you. And then the password 123290. Next, confirm password. Next, security question. Let me just, okay, next. This isn't really necessary. Let me see if I can skip this. Wow, it's required. So let's proceed with that. Okay, and then the last question. Well, let me just put anything there, and then next, and we're done with that part. Now let's click on next, and then accept the themes, and this should be up. Okay, so this may take about 5 minutes, I think, not up to 10 minutes, and everything should be ready. Okay, so you can see everything is ready. Now this didn't really take long, but I didn't monitor the time, but I'll update the time on the video when I'm editing it so I can show you how long this took. There is actually an issue here, so if I try to view this on full screen, it will show just like this, just this square 800 by 600, which is the default for any OS running on VirtualBox. So we have to make change to this, so whenever we view this on full screen, it would cover the entire screen, and people may even think this is actually our main machine. So now I'm going to show you how to do that. Now click on devices up here and then go to insert guest additional CD image. Now open your file explorer on your VirtualBox over here and then go to this PC. Now here you find CD drive VirtualBox guest additions. Now left click on it, double click actually. Now scroll down and select VirtualBox Windows additions. Double click on it and then click on yes. Now let's proceed with this. Next, and then proceed with the installation. Click on install. Now go with the option to reboot your VirtualBox. So let's finish. Now make sure to delete the installation file after you've successfully installed, just like this. So whenever it is booting, it won't have to boot from this installation file over here. So let's delete that, or you can move it to another folder, maybe if you want to send it to someone else. So now let's log into our system. Now click on file up here and then click on preferences and then click on display, and then from this section over here select hint, and then you can define your own resolution. So let me check the resolution from my system. So you go to your settings on your system and then go to the display section, and there you can find the resolution. You can see 1920 by 1080. So let's set that and then hit on OK. And then now let's try to view it on full mode, and you can see everything is actually working properly now. So basically this is how to change the resolution on your VirtualBox. Now everything is working on this virtual machine, and you can actually use it for whatever you want to do. So you can install the drivers you need and then start using your virtual machine. So basically this is how to install Windows 11 on your VirtualBox. If this was helpful, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notification. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.